Hey VC, it's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. This is going to be part two of a series I did on following a thread of favorite guitar players. Originally, they asked for 10 top favorite guitar players, and I've sort of expanded that to 20. I did 10 yesterday, and this is the second part. So 10 more guitarists that I think are extraordinary. If you don't like my choices, then I think you should make your own video and let me see what you think of the top 10. Or maybe you think some of them are great and some of them are stupid. That's fine. But let me see what you got. If you have a different opinion of who is one of the great guitarists of all time. So starting off with the blues, because I'm a blues hound, and is Robert Johnson. These are two represses of his albums. All these were cut on only two or three different sessions in 1936 and 1937. At the time, he was not very well known outside of the small area of where he was. He wasn't as popular as people like Blind Lemon Jefferson and Mississippi Fred McDowell, etc. He was known around the area where he was, but it wasn't until these records were recorded or re-released in the early 1960s that people like Eric Clapton, Peter Green, and other British bluesmen started listening to them and got excited about it and started re-recording a lot of his songs. So on this album you have Dust My Broom, Sweet Home Chicago, Steady Rollin' Man from 4 Until Late, Love in Vain, Crossroad Blues, Walkin' Blues, Kind-Hearted Woman, Preachin' Blues, Ramblin' on My Mind, Hellhound on My Trail. I mean, a lot of these songs were taken by everybody from, I said, the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, Led Zeppelin, and re-recorded. When you realize he was just sitting in a room with a guitar and doing all this guitar work and writing all the songs and singing is just phenomenal that he did it all. And 1937 or 1938, he was about to go to New York. He had been invited to the concert to perform at a place they were going to do from Swing to Spirituals, I guess it was, at Carnegie Hall. And he was scheduled to be there, and he was poisoned and killed before that. And I think they substituted Leadbelly came in instead of Robert Johnson to play. But Robert Johnson, great guitar player, great songwriter, singer. The father of all that electric blues we have today. Next one I picked is another blues man. This is still around with us, the great Buddy Guy. This is his album, Left My Blues in San Francisco. This is a Vinyl Me Please re-release, originally released 1967. What can you say about Buddy Guy that hasn't been talked about already? Amazing guitar player, still around, still kicking, and fantastic. This is a great record, really raw, 1967. Left My Blues in San Francisco. Next guitar player I got up, picked this up just a while ago. I never saw this before, so I was really excited to see this. This is the Iceman, the master of the Telecaster, Albert Collins. And this is a record, it's a 3-record set, Albert Collins and the Icebreakers at Uncle Pass Carnegie Hall in Hamburg, 1980, 3-set live recording. Fantastic. I was a little bit skeptical because you've seen so much nowadays of all these recently rediscovered recordings that are recorded terribly, that they take and just press out on vinyl just to cash in on the vinyl craze. But this one was surprisingly recorded really well, and great pressing on it. So I was really happy with it. And like I said, Albert Collins, the Iceman, the master of the Telecaster. Next up, the third blues man I picked up, who I love this guy, I love his style and everything about him. It's Freddie King. Not Albert King, not B.B. King, but Freddie King. This is, again, a recent repress from all recorded 1960 and 1961. Really raw blues. I just absolutely love it. He can play like nobody's business. I'm sorry, 60, 61, 62, and a couple songs 1968 actually on her also. So really fantastic. If you don't know Freddie King, you got to dig into him. One of the great guitar players. Next one is something obvious choice for me. I haven't seen him anyone else choose. No one else has featured him yet on their list of great guitar players, and I can't understand why. So it's Duane Allman from the Allman Brothers. You know, it's all been said. Great album, fantastic record. Duane was something else, played on all sorts of records, from Aretha Franklin as a backup musician all the way through. Left us way too early, died way too young. And you think of what he could have put out had he been around. This, of course, is the Live at the Fillmore East concert, one of the great live recordings of all time. So there you go, Duane Allman. Next up is the guy playing in the background, if you can hear a little bit. It's Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is 1983, Texas Flood. Again, it's all been said about Stevie. Nothing I can tell you haven't heard before. From Stevie, we go to the other man, who is another one, a fantastic guitar player, one of the more innovative guitar players of all time, and it's the great Jimi Hendrix. This is an album called Jimi Hendrix Concerts, recorded in San Francisco, New York, London, and Berkeley. Yeah, and Berkeley. 1968, 1969. There's a picture of him at the pop festival where he burned his guitar in California. Like I said before, I'm old enough, lucky enough, I got to see Jimmy play twice. I saw him play in winter 67, 68 in Columbus, Ohio, my freshman year in college. Soft Machine opened for him, and he came out and just blew the place away. It was amazing show, amazing. And I saw him again in Woodstock, then summer 69. But again, nothing more needs to be said about Jimmy. Everybody knows it all, seen it, done it. The best ever done been. Jimi Hendrix. Next one is a personal favorite guy. I just love his style. He plays all sorts of guitar styles and has written great tunes, done movie soundtracks, did the Buena Vista Social Club. It's Ry Cooder. This is his third album from 1983, I think it is. This is Into the Purple Valley, which has on it How Can You Keep On Moving, which is great. Money Honey. On a Monday, Hey Porter. Taxes on the Farmer Feeds Us All, etc. So there he is. There's Rye. Rye can play it all. He's still out there performing. If you ever get a chance, go see Rye play. He's master of the slide guitar as well as regular guitar playing. Fantastic. Another one who doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, and in my top 10 is the great Richard Thompson. This is a UK press from 1981. This is straight tempo, traditional and modern tunes for all occasions. Sort of tongue-in-cheek there. A great album and a great guitar player, songwriter. Doesn't get enough notice, I don't think, as a really amazing guitar player. A lot of you know Richard Thompson from Richard and Linda Thompson, originally Fairport Convention. There you go. There's the man himself, Richard Thompson. And last but not least, someone else who is not known as a guitar player, even though he's an amazing guitar player, known more as a conductor, a composer of music, and it's the great Frank Zappa. This is his 1971 Carnegie Hall concert, not Carnegie, Fillmore East concert, June 1971. the reason I picked this concert is that I was there when this was recorded. They had 2 shows at night, one at like 8 o'clock and the other one like 11 o'clock. And I actually had a job and was working back then, so I went to the early show and saw a friend coming into the late show as I was leaving from the early show, and he asked me, how was the show? I said, oh, fantastic, you're gonna love it. Flo and Eddie sang with him, it's gonna be great. He called me back the next day, he says, you won't believe who sat in for the late show. And it was John and Yoko. So that was the closest I got to see John Lennon, just going to the wrong show, being too responsible and going to work the next day instead of going to late show and not showing up for work. But yeah, Frank Zappa, one of the great guitar players of all time. So there you go. That's my top 10 list. Hope you enjoyed it. Yesterday's list was a little more eclectic or a little more obscure guitar players. Today's a little more people you've heard of. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Take care. Stay safe. Until next time, peace.